artistic director and conductor of your Dayton Philharmonic Orchestra, rocking out a little bit with the music of the Temptations and Ain't Too Proud to Beg. I'm playing that at the piano because I'm preparing for our concert with the Motortown All-Stars on the Dayton Philharmonic's Rockin Orchestra Series. The All-Stars are the real deal, guys who've sung with some of the big original Motown groups, the Temptations, the Miracles, the Contours, and they put on a fabulous show with the orchestra, which I am really excited about doing. This is music that I've known not quite my entire life, but pretty damn close. I first heard popular American music, I mean, you know, the rock and roll kind of stuff. 1964, I was 9 years old, watching the Ed Sullivan Show, as I did almost every Sunday night with my parents. I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. I'm not entirely sure I understood the Beatles, but I did see them and experience them and heard some of their songs during the British invasion period. I didn't really get into popular music until the next year, 1965, getting into 1966, when my family moved from Brooklyn to Vermont. My father got a teaching job at Dartmouth College and we moved up there. And because my family was sort of more Vermont people than New Hampshire people, we lived on the Vermont side of the Connecticut River from Hanover, where my father worked. And when we were there, I don't even remember how it happened. I think it was probably through some friends of mine from school. But by the time we got to 1966, I was hanging out at WDCR, the Dartmouth College radio station, DCR, get it? Which did a lot of kind of traditional, easy listening kind of music during the day, but they played, as I recall, rock and roll like from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock every weekday afternoon and then all weekend. And that was my lifeline to popular music, and in some ways my lifeline period at that time. I hung out there, I answered the phone, I did whatever I could, sat around in the studio as the college student DJs were playing the music, and I really got into the music through that, especially the music of the Beatles and the Stones. I was also into the folkies, Dylan, Joan Baez, that sort of thing. Later on, I got into folk singers like Tom Paxton and Tom Rush. But one of the things that happened when I was hanging out at the radio station at Dartmouth and also listening to it was I got influenced by one of the DJs there. I think he was also the program director. His name was Paul Gambaccini. And he went on later in his life to become quite famous in England as a DJ on some of the big pop shows there, and has written a lot about this era. And Paul was important to me because it was really through him, though I didn't know it at the time, that I got into hearing Motown music. And so this concert with all these great Motown songs is really sort of bringing me back to those days when I was hanging out at the station. And Paul, in his role as both as DJ but also as program director at the station, really thought it was important to get out to the audience just how important the music of Black American musicians was. And he really tried to push that music so we got to hear a lot of it, both the music of the Motown groups, also the music of the Memphis soul stuff. I think actually Paul may have been more of a Memphis man than a Detroit man, but he loved it all. And thanks to him, I heard a lot of this music. I mean, he loved this music so much that he would sometimes put his finger on the scales of radio justice. The station had a thing that they came out with every week called the Tri-Town Top 25, the top 25 songs in the region, which was Hanover, New Hampshire, and Norwich, Vermont. And I think the third of the Tri-Towns was probably Lebanon, New Hampshire. And in theory, it had to do mostly with record sales, but Paul sometimes would push a song that he thought was important for people to hear up the charts even before the sales were justifying it. I know he did that with Aretha Franklin's Respect. He made it #1 as soon as it came out. And I think it only became #1 nationally until a few weeks later. And he really believed in this music, and thanks to him, I got to hear a lot of it. My favorite Paul Gambaccini story has to do with a fairly obscure song called Sweet Soul Music by Arthur Conley, which appeared suddenly one week at #1, and I'd never heard the song before. And I went to Paul and I said, Sweet Soul Music #1, that seems a little surprising. And he said, yeah, but it's a great song. And if you know the song, it's a song that references many, many, many great soul singers. Otis Redding, James Brown, and each line of the song is about a different singer and the songs that they sang. And he said, if people hear this song, which is a great song, and they hear it talking about all these other singers, they're going to listen to those other singers and they're going to get to know the music more. And I thought, Paul, that may not be the way the charts are supposed to work, but you're really smart and you're right. And so I think of him when I hear this music. I think back to those days, my teenage and pre-teenage days even. It's so much fun to be working on this music, and I'm really looking forward to performing it with the Motown All-Stars, the Motortown All-Stars, and the Dayton Philharmonic Orchestra. If you're there with us, that'll be great. My back will be to you the whole time, but I promise you I will have this giant smile on my face from the beginning of the show to the end, and I think you will too. Hope you can join us for that. And if not, you missed a really great show. Take care and keep listening to your Dayton Philharmonic Orchestra as much as you can.